Good to see everybody in the chat as well. I know Nick Nice, Red Jet, Brother Bob have all been here for a minute. Good to see you guys. Don't Bother Me's here. Todd, all you guys, man. Thank you so much for the support and being here. Eddie Alonso, all you guys, man. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the support. Appreciate everybody. Man, that was a good game. I definitely enjoyed that. Let me get your guys' take in general of that game before we dive in too much in the details. But Twin, what did you think of that beat down the 49ers gave the Cardinals?
uh, I thought it was definitely needed. I think we didn't play our best game defensively. But you kind of could predict that this team isn't a sorry team. One thing you got to give the Cardinals credit for: if this regime is going to play hard and they're going to play physical. And I know a lot of times people want to look at our like their rushing yards and their ability to run on us and be like, "Oh my God!" Like, you know, everything is falling apart. But at the same time, this team has been a difficult out for a lot of teams this year. So you got to respect the fact that they went out there and tried to play a physical brand of football. We had a lot of missed tackles that I didn't like, but I know at the same time, I know if it's Fred Warner, he will clean those things up. And some of the other guys who are the top echelon players on our team missed some tackles, and that's not their normal way of playing. Overall, the offense was cooking on a high level. You had a great balance between Christian McCaffrey going out there running the ball. The offensive lineman was making sure those they had they were making some gaps. It would be third level before Christian would get like touched sometimes. And you just got to respect the fact that this offensive line that may not have a lot of great players individually, but as a unit, they're beginning to have some type of continuity. I want to give a big shout out to Feliciano. I believe that's his name. He's been moving. I remember 1 week ago he was in the left guard. This week he was in the right guard. You know what I'm saying? So he's moving around, but still being productive. So I appreciate him coming in late in this season and doing his thing. Y'all saw Brock Purdy was out here moving off our platform, making big shots and big plays. And that was very a big thing for that team to have and thing for them to do. So big ups to them for doing that. And I just got to respect the fact that them boys out there playing hard and Debo doing this thing. Overall, just a whole team effort, man. Shout out to Mooney Ward. I can go on and on, but yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
hush for a second. But yeah, but big ups to everybody just played on yesterday.
Tia, what you think, man? What was your overall takeaway from that game?
Yeah, I mean, he took the sentiments right out of my out of my head. Was you in my head, twin? Because man, you hit on all like the key points, bruh. Yeah, John Feliciano, like that was one move that was kind of an underrated move in my opinion. Like I really thought he was gonna come out here and try to and push Spencer Burford for that starting right guard job. You know what I mean? And he's been playing pretty well, like you said, twin, moving around. He got that veteran presence and stuff. And yeah, man, the defense, like you said, a bunch of missed tackles and stuff like that. But man, this is finally I'm finally at a point. I think you tweeted this right. You were like, you haven't felt so good about this team since the last time I went to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And like in a long
Yeah.
time. And we just look good, man, hitting on all cylinders. And it's good to know that you can have a weakness on one side of the ball and we can still overcome. You know what I'm saying? So like you said, the defense didn't play well, but when you're putting up over 40 points, you know what I'm saying? You're giving your chance giving your opportunity to win at every level. So yeah, I love to see it, man. Mooney Ward had an outstanding game, and somebody said in the comments, I'm starting Hargrave are definitely needed in the interior, D
Yeah.
line. Like Collier Davis, he's a good player, stuff like this, and you got T.Y. McGill and stuff like that. But yeah, those dudes are just on another level, higher tier, obviously, especially Javon Hargrave, excuse me. So yeah, Brock Purdy keeps doing his thing. Been very impressed with this young man. I think not to go too long winded on that, but there was a lot of people who were upset about what went on with the quarterback situation. But for the short term, I feel like Kyle did make the right decision. Brock Purdy's impressing everybody, as far as fans within the organization and outside of the organization, to where people were saying if he wins the MVP, it's going to be disgraceful and all this other stuff. But man, you love to see it, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna dive deeper into the Brock Purdy stuff here in just a minute. But yeah, my overall takeaway from the game is it was impressive from the standpoint that the defense actually didn't look good. They gave up like 200 plus rushing yards. And obviously, I think a lot of that had to do with Hargrave and Armstead not being there. So we'll see when we get those guys back. Hopefully, they're back for the Ravens game. But overall, the 49ers dominated and they were carried by the offense, which we haven't seen in a long time. I think I tweeted out yesterday that like this is the best 49ers offense I've seen since the 90s, probably since like 98, I think. Uh, it's weird to have a 49ers team under Kyle Shanahan with an offense being this potent because we haven't seen it. It's been about the defense for 6 years. This offense is just as good, if not sometimes better than the defense, which is what gives me confidence in this team down the stretch here, headed into the postseason. It feels like this is the year based on how this offense is clicking, the defense is clicking when healthy. But again, I think that was the key, man. Like, and it wasn't just Eric Armstead and Hargrave being gone. That was like a little weird for me. To me, Charvarius Ward, hell of a game. 2 picks, 1 pick six. Nick Bosa, I think he had a sack and a half, which was great to see. Bosa showed up. Lenore did his thing until he got hurt. That's something we need to talk about too, because he did go down with some kind of rib injury of some sort. But outside of those guys, man, the defense didn't, despite, I mean, they beat the 45-29, but they gave up 29 points, the defense. And my guy Fred Warner, I tweeted out like 3 days ago, this guy should be in the discussion for Defensive Player of the Year. And he just didn't look like himself, man, at all. Like I maybe I jinxed him. I don't know what it was, but he was not himself yesterday. So a little concerned about that, because they were tackling like they were tackling during that 3-game skit. The good news is though, they got this offense that's clicking, that's able to bail them out. But want to get your guys' take on this.
I'll say this real fast. I think one thing that kind of messed up early in that game is time of possession. Our defense was out there a lot. We scored quickly, I believe. Well, they was out there. They kind of marched the ball down the field. They was running the ball. We ended up getting the ball right back to them. They was out there for a long period of time again. Even with the pick six. I mean, I know it looks cool, but your defense got to turn right back around and go back out there again. And so I believe early on, when you're kind of like maybe a little bit of hyperventilating, or you might be out there kind of exacerbating a little bit, and they miss some of those tackles, and then you start to think about it, and that's the one thing you don't want to do as a football player. You don't want to think, you just want to react. And that's when I believe they started missing those tackles, and we gave up some points, because on third down we was right there. Like the play call was correct. We had them in the backfield, or we had them right there on the LOS. We missed the tackle, then next thing you know, they run for the first down, and they continue to like churn yards that way. So I look at it that way. Like that's how I kind of look at the game. Like, okay, were we there? Like, could we have made the plays? Yes. Why didn't we make the plays? I think fatigue played a big part of it early on in the game. And like you said earlier, TL, remember we had that long stretch, and then we started missing tackles a lot more. We just went on a 5-game win streak. You know what I mean? And now, probably getting a little tired legs, but that's my 2 cents on the situation.
Yeah, TL, what do you think, man, about the way defense was performing?
Yeah, I mean, the defense, I was like, man, like Arizona, you look at the team as a whole, especially collectively on offense, it's like, man, they have like no weapons, bro. Like, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
Like, you got Hollywood Brown. I mean, what's his name is nice. The little
Connor's
receiver that
nice.
went to Purdue. Connor's
Yeah.
nice. That little
Man,
receiver
he
that played
run
for
hard.
Purdue.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What's the guy's name? It missed my head. Who's the little receiver they had that went to Purdue? That's like in his 3rd year. Oh, Rondell Moore.
Rondell
Yeah.
Moore.
Yeah, like they got some decent weapons and stuff, but yeah, for them to put 29 on us is like, man, like everybody, it's funny. I was looking at all score predictions. Everybody's like, oh, we're gonna win like 31 to 10, 31 to 7, and that's the fact that they put up 29 is crazy to me. So, if you took the over on that game, you did your thing. You know what I'm saying as far as the point total. It's just like you said, Twin. Like it's going back to and I know it's only one game, but yeah, the fact that when we were on that 3-game stretch when we lost, we went 0-3 to the Browns, Vikings, and Bengals. The tackling was piss poor. Let's just be honest here. You know what I mean? Missing like 18 a game and stuff like that. It was just crazy, man. But yeah, like I said, I think it's just one of those things, Ryan. Like you said, it's this offense just hasn't looked as good for like a long time. Like I think the late 90s, like you said, like over 20 years ago, 25 years ago, offense ain't
Mhm.
looked as good just because of collective group of weapons. Like you look down, and I know Kyle Juszczyk isn't used as much, but you think about it, we have 5 all pros on this team. You know what I mean? And that's not even including IU. So you got 6 great weapons that you can say, like, man, like it's a pick your poison type thing. It's like, like for instance, like Debo's been electric these last 3 games. Like I don't know what lit a fire under him, but that man's just doing things. So now people are like, oh, let's focus on him. Oh, now you got Christian McCaffrey. Let's focus on McCaffrey. Oh, now you got Kittle. Focus on Kittle. Now you got IU. Like it's just one of these pick your poison type offenses where like when the defense does struggle, we can overcome it. You know what I'm saying? But I will say
Yeah.
this, looking at this team, it looks like, you know, how can I say this? Like we definitely need to be healthy because as far as like our starters, because like if like when we had that 3 game win streak, I mean 3 game losing streak, I was telling people I was a little worried because even though we're missing Trent and Debo, I was like we still should be able to win these games. You know what I'm saying? You still got McCaffrey, still got Ayu, still got Kittle. There's no excuses. So I just pray that everything just is aligned and everything stays even kill with the way this team is playing. Offense stay healthy, defense stay healthy because we're looking like a well-oiled machine right now. I think the
Yeah.
defense, I'm not really too worried about them, honestly. I was on me and Mariah's show. I kept saying like, when you're when Kyle's been there since 2017, when you're used to something as a defense, you had what's his name, Robert Sala on the sidelines. You had D'Amico Ryans on the sidelines, so it was easier. Like if all three of us played defense, we see something on the field. It's easier just to walk over to him. Hey, bro, I need you. I'm seeing this on the left side of the field. Can we adjust this, adjust that? Because we're still coaches on the field too. Just you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying. So we can tell him what we think. But when he's up in the booth, it's like, oh, let me grab my headset. It's a different feel. So I think when he came down, I don't think he's necessarily calling the games any different. It's just more of hey, I'm in your face. I'm gonna talk to you. He provides the energy to them, and I think that's just you go with what you know. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think Steve Wilkes coming down to the sidelines just rejuvenated that defense to a level where now they're like, man, I'm used to this. I'm like my coach on the field, and this lit a fire under this defense. So
Man, shout out to the wife about the coffee at the right time.
man,
Yeah, I needed that this morning.
Right.
Hey, real quick, let me dive into these, and I forgot to pay the bills. So let's give me. There's some chats I want to hit, and then pay the little bills, and then there's a lot more I want to discuss here. But brother, mother effing Bob, RLB2ESQ has been a member for 4 months. Says Ryan, this the damn year, Super Bowl or bust. I agree. Thank you for being a member. Make sure you guys sign up for memberships if you are interested. I would appreciate that much. Mr. Blue Magic says Ryan Twin and guest. That's TL, my guy. What's up, Mr. Blue Magic? Nice to see you. Brother Bob says, and not the good bust either, man. It's too early in the morning for this super chat right here, brother Bob. Damn, man. You gotta wait till noon, brother. You gotta wait till noon for that one. This guy says, I wouldn't hit at a Super Bowl until we in the Super Bowl, one game at a time. Also, jinxing is a real thing. So to me, jinxing isn't a real thing. That's just how I feel. I'm not going to wood for you guys, but I don't think me talking about us going to the Super Bowl is going to change whether we do or not. That's how I feel personally. And I also don't have to play, so I don't have to worry about one game at a time. I got the privilege of, as a fan, as a content creator, I can talk about 10 years from now, and doesn't matter because I'm not playing the game. But I understand your sentiments and your thoughts there.
yeah,
Eddie Alonso says, I hope this group can win multiple Super Bowls together. They have the talent.
Breaks, baby.
I mean, this year and next year, really, while Brock is cheap, that's really the biggest window for me. Shout out to 49ers throwback. Josh Colvin also says, my heart dropped when Brock went down. We aren't the same without him. We need to talk about that also. Good point, Josh. When Brock went down, I was like, oh no, and then Sam Darnold came out. Did not look like Steve Young, unfortunately. Like I think Kyle was hoping. And then the last one, let's talk about this. Red Jet Cell says winning the NFC West was an automatic participation trophy, 30 years to the 6th Lombardi. So it's weird now. We're at the point now where the 49ers can win the NFC West, and then we're like, cool. You know what I'm saying? It's like not a big deal. That's where we're at now with this team. Let me pay a little bills here because I forgot to do this at the beginning of the show, and then we're going to dive into a lot more subjects. The Ryan G. Hensley Show is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Hensley and they'll match up to initial $100 of your deposit. Details in the description for that. Also, Blue Water Credit if you want to get your credit fixed. They're the best credit repair company I've ever used. I send all my clients there for the last decade. Details in the description. Fill out the form. Let them know Ryan G. Hensley sent you, and they'll take care of you. Also, Hensley Real Estate and Mortgage and Hensley Solar. Those are my companies. Hit me up if you need help with any of those things in the state of California. Make sure you like this video, that you subscribe to the channel, and you support Twin and TL as well. I want to get you guys' take on this, man. This is a discussion a lot of people are having. Is Brock Purdy the best quarterback in the NFL statistically? And let me give you guys some numbers to look to consider. Right now, he is number one. He's first passing touchdowns, first passer rating, first pass to touchdown to interception ratio, first in touchdown to attempts ratio, yards to attempt, yards per completion, wins, and they put wardrobe on here. I'm gonna say he's not first in wardrobe. But I want to get y'all take, man. Is Brock Purdy the best quarterback in the NFL? Who's up first? I forgot who went last.
Mm,
20 or TL?
me. Okay. No, he's not. He's playing the best right now. Like, everybody can have a stretch. Like there's times like, I've always said this before. Like Matt Ryan when he won MVP, there was never I mean, me personally, I can't speak for everybody else. I've never heard Matt Ryan be argued as the best quarterback in the NFL, but he had the best season that year. You see where I'm coming from?
Mhm.
So I know I tell people like Brock Purdy, like me, it takes 2 to 3 years from me before I can call anybody elite, especially the quarterback position, because I have to see different things. And people critique situations different. Like a lot of people called him elite after his 4 or 5 games that he played. I'm fine with that. Like I'm not going to argue with you and be like, oh no, you got to wait. No, that's your opinion. Me, this is where the telltale signs are for me. He's a good quarterback. Like I'll tell you this, he's elite for what Kyle wants in a quarterback. That's what I will say. He, fast processors, those with anticipation, doesn't turn the ball over. That's the traits that Kyle loves with his offense. And I think unfortunately for Trey, and I'm gonna bring him up just real quick, like I think he just wasn't the short-term answer because like everybody's saying we're a win team now. We need that Super Bowl now. Trey was more worrisome for the short term for most people, and that's why I think he was rid of. And Trey, from what I've been told by people, like, he didn't really trust what he was seeing. And that's a problem for Kyle. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Kyle wants you to trust him if you want him to trust you, if that makes sense. So with Brock Purdy, yeah, he's playing amazing. But here's my thing. When we went 5-0, we looked amazing. And I'll say this, and I'm not gonna I don't really care what anybody says. Those 3 games without Trent and Debo, we lost. We went from scoring 31 points a game to 17.
Mm.
I'll tell you this: we had Patrick Mahomes on that 3 game stretch, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. We win them 3 games. I'm sorry, that's just my opinion. Because you still have Ayuk to throw to, you still had Kittle, you still had CMC, you still got Kyle Juszczyk. That's all I'm saying. Like so, to go from 31 points a game to 17 points a game while missing 2 pieces is worrisome for me. Because how's it going to look if that happens in the future? You start losing pieces. So right now, he's playing the best. I think obviously because you look at the statistic, and I'm not really a big numbers guy because I'm more of an eye test person. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's playing very well. I'm not going to discredit him at all. And I'll say this, and I love our 49ers fan base, but at the same time, they irritate me sometimes because you, Ryan, you twin, I've heard you guys multiple times and people like to dog you, especially you, Ryan, like 'cause you have a big platform, a lot of people follow you.
Yeah.
I've never heard you talk bad. See, look, Tia with the trash Purdy tape. Here we go. I knew that was coming. Here we go. But here's what I'll say, Ryan. I've never heard you or Twin say anything bad. You guys are always like, I love to see what Trey Lance can do, but I do believe in Brock Purdy. You know what I'm saying? You guys have always said this, and it's just like I've ever heard you guys say was, I just want to see Trey with the full arsenal. But like I
Mm.
said, it didn't happen. He's gone. So we see Brock Purdy, and I love what he's doing. But like I said, I feel like Trent Williams might retire this year. I feel like there's going to be some stuff that goes on, and we'll see. Like if he plays outstanding next year, I'll call him elite. But right now, I can't do that, and I cannot call him the best quarterback in the NFL right now because, like I said, I can name 6 or 7 quarterbacks that probably would have won us at least 1 or 2 of those games in that 3 game stretch that we lost. So that's what I'll say about that.
Interesting. I dig it, man. I dig it. Twin, what is your take on the subject matter?
The question is he the best quarterback in the National Football League, right? Uh,
Mhm.
he's playing right now like, as the best quarterback in the National Football League. I don't believe he is the best quarterback in the National Football League. That's not a knock again for the people who want to say you hating and stuff like that. I'm again. I know it takes all 11 guys to be on one page. This is a very very tough sport. This is the most team oriented sport there is, out there, and this is a very hard game to play. I think Kyle Shanahan and the weapons, it's like a fit. It's like chemistry. It's like compatibility. It's like a lot of these things coming together all at once, and you have to respect that in order to win in this league and play at the level that they're playing in, everything has to align, at the right time. And I think this is what happened to Brock. And I think Brock is definitely taking full advantage of the opportunities. And I think Kyle Shanahan is at like he's so comfortable with what it is that he can call now that the execution, if you just execute, everything else will take care of itself. And so, is he playing the best quarterback right now? Is he playing the best? Yes. Is he the best quarterback in the National Football League? I said no, but it doesn't mean he's sorry or he sucks or I think he's trash.
Yeah. 49ers throwback says, is it fair to say Brock Purdy is top 10? I would say yes. I think
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's playing like the best quarterback in the league right now.
Exactly.
for
Like,
sure.
is he the best quarterback overall? Like, if you put all these quarterbacks on Kyle Shannon's team, Kyle Shannon's offense with these weapons, would he be the best quarterback out of all of them? I would probably say no on that one. But he's playing it like the best quarterback in the NFL right now. And look, it's not a knock on Brock Purdy to say that he has elite weapons and elite offensive play caller, and he's also executing at an elite level, I think, right now. Now, is he elite overall? Is he like the best quarterback in the NFL? I need more time to say that. Patrick Mahomes has shown me way too much in his career for me to just be like, all right, Purdy's over him. Same with like guys like I just really think guys are super talented, like Josh Allen. Like I watched Lamar Jackson last night. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about these Ravens at the end here, but I watched Lamar Jackson last night. He's a different kind of quarterback, obviously, right? He runs a lot. He leads that Ravens team in rushing yards, but he's literally got that whole team on his back. So does Josh Allen. And so when I'm watching those two guys, they're not putting up the kind of numbers that Brock Purdy's putting up at all, but they are literally carrying their teams. They are their offense. And so it's hard to judge Brock Purdy, honestly, because of the team and the situation he's in. He's playing like the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Whether he is the best quarterback, if all other things were equal or not, I would say no right now. It doesn't mean he can't be. Maybe he becomes that guy one day, but I need to see this consistent play from him over long periods of time. If he does this for a long hey, if he wins a damn Super Bowl and he plays like this all the way through, and then comes back next year and continues to play the way he's playing right now, then I'm like, hey, this guy probably is the best quarterback in the NFL. I just need time to see it. That's kind of how I feel about who's the best quarterback in the NFL to you guys.
To me, well, can I make a comment real quick for somebody?
Yeah.
So, John Chisari, hope I said your name right, brother. They said they beat Cleveland. Moody don't miss a kick. Okay, cool. But do you knock Brock for missing Christian McCaffrey wide open? Because that's 6 points too. So you say he executes that, we win the game as well. Brandon Ayuk catches that ball, we execute as we score a touchdown as well. So that to me was a collective loss. I love how people love to say, "Oh, like don't get me wrong, Jake Moody was bad that game. He was horrendous, but there was 6 points left off the board at different levels of the game. So you can't really just knock Jake Moody on that, in my opinion. Um, to me, it's Mahomes in his own tier, and then it's everybody else. I used to have a couple years ago. I used to talk to myself about the quarterback, and I was thinking it was like Josh Mahomes. Josh Mahomes. Look at that, how I did that together. Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen on the same tier. Because remember, a couple years ago, Josh Allen was out there just doing his thing. Like that playoff game against it was the Chiefs actually, when he went like when he threw more touchdowns than incompletions. Like that was just impressive. And I was like, man, Josh Allen's up there. But nah, I think Patrick Mahomes has put himself on another level. Like, after he lost Tyreek Hill, you thought, man, he has no weapons. He still won a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of look I look for elite in a quarterback. So to me, it's like Patrick Mahomes, and you got like Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow in their own tier, Lamar Jackson, stuff like that. Then you got the third tier. I think Brock Purdy right now is more in that third tier for me right now, with like the Dak Prescotts, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Patrick Mahomes is definitely the best quarterback right now in the NFL, and I don't think he's going to be surpassed anytime soon. Like he's impressive. He's playing with a lot less weapons. You have Travis Kelce and Marquez Valdez Scantling as your receiver, and stuff like that. Like his receivers aren't household names, but he's still getting it done. Lamar Jackson, same thing. You get the nail on the head, Ryan. Who's his weapons? You got Odell Beckham, who's washed up. The Zay Flowers kid's pretty good, the rookie.
Who's a rookie though?
Yeah, he
Small
lost
dude,
Mark.
though.
He lost
Yeah.
Mark Andrews, and the team was what 10-3 with Lamar Jackson and minimal
Running back.
weapons.
Don't forget the running back.
Yeah,
11-3 now.
11-3. Yeah, with
running back too now.
yeah, exactly. He's with minimal weapons. So yeah, so I can't put him up there yet as Patrick Mahomes, but yeah, to say Brock Purdy is he top 10? Absolutely, he's playing like that, and I agree with you, Ryan. I said it too. He goes out and executes through this playoff to win a Super Bowl. He does it again this year. If we lose some pieces here and there, I will call the man elite, and I don't have no problem doing it. I want him to be.
Exactly.
It's just right now, I just can't see it because of what I've seen. And like I said, you had that 3-game stretch that kind of was like, man, like we still it shouldn't have been that far of a drop. I get how important Trent Williams is. I get it. but it shouldn't be that much of a drop off from 31 points a game to 17 when you still got CMC, Ayuk, and Kittle on the field. I'm sorry, because you look at some of these quarterbacks, they would love to have those weapons on the field. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hard. Like that's the thing too. Like Kyle Shanahan is. I think. I think I bookmarked it this morning. Something happened in that game yesterday. Let me pull it up for you guys. That hasn't happened in a couple years. So according to next gen stats, Brock Purdy completed 10 of 12 passes for 165 yards and 3 touchdowns when targeting open receivers, which is considered 3 yards of separation. Purdy was the first quarterback to throw multiple touchdowns to receivers with 10 plus yards of target separation since week 18 in 2021, Dak Prescott. So now that's not a knock on Brock Purdy to say that his receivers are wide the hell ass open. It's a compliment to Kyle Shanahan, but it's just hard for us to compare what he's doing to other quarterbacks when he has a lot of those situations. Now, I will say, though, that back shoulder throw to Debo for the touchdown, that was a great damn throw. So Brock Purdy has shown that he can make those kind of throws, but a lot of the times he does have open receivers. Now, that's not his fault, and you can't take anything away from him for that. But right now, he's in the best offense with the best weapons, and he's also playing the best. So it's all of those things combined. There's nothing wrong with saying that Brock Purdy is in the best situation for a quarterback. Like, really, like if you're a quarterback in the NFL, where do you want to be right now? If you're a quarterback in the NFL, you want to be on this Niners team running this offense with these weapons. It's the best situation in the NFL. But again, that doesn't mean that Brock Purdy's not anything, right? Like he could still be the best quarterback in the NFL. I just need to see it another year before I say he's the best quarterback in the NFL. What we know right now, though, is he is playing like the best quarterback in the NFL, at least from a statistical standpoint. And I love to see it. And that's why I think the 49ers are going to win a Super Bowl this year, because we haven't seen this type of quarterback play in a long time, man. It's like since to me, look, Cap was unbelievable that 1 year and a half where he was just taking over the league. He was the most dynamic player in the league, but it wasn't sustainable. And, that's part of the reason why I also hold off before I if you would have asked me in Cap that year when they went to the Super Bowl, if he's going to be a franchise quarterback for years to come, I would say absolutely. And he was gone 2 years later. He was out off the team. So that's another reason why me as a 49ers fan has been doing this for a long time. I've been following this team since I was a little boy, and I'm old as shit, right? That's part of the reason why I hold off before I say this is absolute and this is absolute, because I've seen it. But outside of Cat, man, Brock and this offense are playing the best I've seen since at least Garcia, but honestly, since Steve Young in 98. That's what it feels like right now. And that's why I feel like this is the year the 49ers can win it all. Let's talk about it. I know some people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to jinx it, but this feels like, they're breaking records left and right. This feels like the year they go all the way. I want to get your take on it.
Everything is in place, but one thing we know is continue to be consistent. I do like, if I'm looking at just talent wise, we are the most talented team, and I believe we have the highest ceiling of any team. That's how I kind of like to measure. What is our worst game compared to somebody else's worst game, and what is our best game compared to another team's best game? And I kind of like put us in a situation, say, okay, I trust my team to come out 8 out of 10 times. You see what I'm saying? And so with that being said, if we just do what we need to do, be responsible with the things that we can control, I think that a Super Bowl is for us. I don't want to get too giggity, you know what I mean? Because, it's just a normal situation where you you get kind of excited. But I do know one thing about football, it's any given Sunday, man. But if you are to tell me that just nothing would change, everybody would be healthy, and I get to meet any team on top of that mountain, I'll take us any day of the week. So I'll just keep it simple like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, Tia?
Yeah, I think as long as this team stays healthy, I think there's nobody that's going to beat us. I think we're just too physical, too potent on offense right now. As much as we give Brock Purdy credit, I want to give Kyle Shanahan credit too, because like you said, it's not Brock Purdy's fault that these guys are wide open. You know what I mean? Kyle and they're dialing his plays and stuff like that. And like I said too, it's like you mentioned it a couple minutes ago. What quarterback would not want to be on this team right now?
Yeah.
Just to have that comfort of man, I can be out there picking my poison. Okay, you want to double this guy? I got this guy. You want to double? You know what I'm saying? So It's like one of those things where, I just feel like as long as we stay healthy, and if Kyle doesn't get in his own head, because I feel like a couple of these Super Bowls, you kind of question Kyle and like question that Super Bowl, like man, like why did you not run Mostert more? You know what I'm saying? So
You
sometimes
heard
Kyle,
Mooney. You heard
yeah,
Mooney. You
yeah,
heard it.
yeah,
And
it's
y'all
oh
saw Eric
exactly, yeah,
Monster's face.
he
Hey,
was
you
like,
see
oh yeah,
Eric
we
Monster's
hoping to get.
face?
And just to piggyback more on that last QB conversation too, it's like, and I get you, Ryan and Twin, when you say that you kind of want to stare back on what you see on the quarterback position and stuff like that, because I don't know how many people after Jimmy went 5-0 was calling him an elite franchise quarterback. He went
Yeah.
5-0. Oh, give him this massive deal, and then 2 years
Highest
later,
paid quarterback in the
highest paid
NFL.
quarterback at the time, and then 2 years later, you're trying to get rid of him. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So it's
Yeah.
one of those things where and I hear and I see people in the comments and stuff. We're not giving Brock Purdy any backhanded compliments. We're just calling it like we see it. We just calling it like we see it, man. It's like it's
Right.
okay to sit there and be reserved. Because I ain't gonna lie, I was one of them, Ryan. I thought we should have franchise tagged Jimmy, but it took me till 2020 to realize he wasn't it. And I had people telling me, "Oh, he's not it. We need a new quarterback." I'm like, "Well, no, just give him a chance." And I was late on Jimmy G. I'm not gonna lie. Some people
Yeah.
want to get rid of him after the contract and say, "Oh, we overpaid. He's not that guy." Give him a chance. He's 5-0. He took, this is and that. I remember week one, I think it's Arizona 2020. That's when I saw it. So people see things at different levels, people. It's just because, I mean, if you saw Brock Purdy elite, after he took over that Dolphins game,
Salute.
kudos to you. Because I didn't see, what I'm saying? Kudos to you. I'm happy that you
Yeah.
saw it early. But it's funny how people will beat their chest and say how right they were about a prospect when everybody in this room and everybody on this chat has been wrong on prospects before. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But yeah, we're definitely one of the Super Bowl if we stay healthy, in my opinion. And somebody made a comment to you earlier, and you kind of said something, Ryan, when you were like, "Yeah, I'm a fan. I can go week by week and not have to worry about one game at a time." Imagine
Yeah.
you as a real estate agent. You like, "Oh, I got this house for sale. I'm worried about this house right now," and you're not looking at other prospective buyers. That'd be crazy. You have
Right.
to look towards the future to
Yeah.
keep that success, in my opinion. What I'm saying? I get it, this
Yeah.
football, but some people don't think in the now. To me, I think about what's going on in the future as well. So I'm with you, Ryan. It's okay to talk about, oh, we got the Ravens, and then after that, we got this and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's cool. We don't have to think one game at a time like some of you people do. Not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's just how it goes. You know what I mean? You'd be
Yeah.
stagnant and you wouldn't probably have the money that you have in your pocket right now if you worried about one client at a time. You feel where I'm coming from?
Yeah. I overthink everything all the
Thank you.
time. That's one of my wife's like, damn man, you're just thinking too much, right? Like, but that's just how I work. That's how I operate. But to be honest, from a fan standpoint,
Mhm.
it's way more entertaining for me if I can look at 3 years down the line.
Thank
I
you.
enjoy it, right? If I'm looking at week
Mhm.
by week and I got to just focus on, like, if last week all I could think about was the Cardinals, it's more boring than if I can, like, let me enjoy this. This is entertainment. This is why I do it. And I want to think about, hey man, maybe it's the year for us, man. That's what I want to do. But everyone, you're entitled to do what you want to do.
Exactly.
But I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I don't think I have any effect on the outcome of any of this, right? Like, it's all entertainment. Let me read some of these super twin, and then I want to get your take on something here. Let's see where we at. Brian Culp says Brock Purdy wins the Super Bowl this year. He's elite. End of story. Look, this is the funny thing. I really think I'm just the reason why I say it's very hard because I love what the hell Brock Purdy's doing. I'm the guy that called him Dink and Dunk, so everyone thinks I just hate Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
I really freaking don't. I love what he's doing. He's what makes me think this team can win a Super Bowl because I didn't really believe in Jimmy G winning a Super Bowl despite how good the team is. This year, I believe they can because Brock Purdy to me is on the level of the players around him. He's at least as good as those guys, if not lifting them up. So I believe in Brock Purdy right now with what I'm seeing. But even if he wins a Super Bowl, I mean, you got a lot of quarterbacks that have won the Super Bowl with elite teams that proved not to be elite. And so even if he wins a Super Bowl, he to me has to come back and be that same player that he was this year, next year, and continue to do that over multiple years. That's when you have an elite quarterback to me, Bryant. But I see what you're saying. If he wins a Super Bowl, this guy's getting I don't know, statue at Levi Stadium. Brother Bob is the king of putting in hella words and only having to pay $2, man. I need you to spell these things out, make it easier on me. Kicking that extra $3, Brother Bob. He says right now it's Patrick Mahomes number 1,
Mhm.
Lamar James number 2, Brock Purdy number 3, Josh Allen number 4, and Herbert number 5.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, it just depends. Honestly, like I think Lamar Jackson is super talented and he's carrying his team. But also, I don't want to build around Lamar Jackson because of the kind of football I like. Right? I like a Patrick Mahomes. I like quarterbacks that can scramble and are mobile. But the
Yeah.
amount of beating that Lamar Jackson takes scares the hell out of me. If he was my quarterback, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm paying this guy this much money, and he's getting hit like 20 times a game." That would worry me personally. So I just think it depends. I mean, it's all subjective. Like it's really just an opinion type thing. But I don't think your list is too far off. It doesn't bother me. I don't know if I would have Brock Purdy over Josh Allen either. To be honest, I think Josh Allen is super talented. If you put him on a team like the Niners in this offense, he would eat. But it's not like Brock's not either. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
really hard, man.
Yeah.
Right? I just know he's good. That's all I know. I know Brock Purdy is really freaking good. He's
Yep.
somewhere up there. And then the next one, Johnny says, Ryan, I'm very glad Sam got to throw twice. I quit if he ever does again. Ryan, we had an off day and the offense carried the team. Great signs. Yeah, it is a great sign because when's the last time that we said an offense was carrying the team?
We haven't. Under Kyle, we haven't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about one thing, man, that I wanted to get to. I brought it up earlier, alluded to it earlier, where Charvarius Ward and Bosa showed up yesterday. But the run game was just absent. And, is that just because Eric Armstead and Javon Hargrave were gone? Do you think it's a different ball game with those two in the game?
So if you're asking me, I think, again, we missed assignments. There were guys in play to go and make a tackle, but they just missed tackles. And so when I look at things of that nature, you stop a 3 and out and then you extend it and then they go down there and maybe kick a field goal or score a touchdown. I don't think that was just because of the absence of the big boys. I'm not saying that they wouldn't help because they are really, really great players, as far as two borderline Pro Bowlers. But at the same time, I thought that with the talent we had, we could have kept them guys under 20 points, And so if you're keeping a football team under 20 points, I think that's a good deal. And also, they just run the ball extremely physical. I mean, whether against us and other teams, they have shown themselves to be a physical. And also, what's the little guy name? Kyler Murray. He's a difficult guy to kind of contain as well. We've seen this dude come into the game early on in his career. He was throwing the ball. He was rushing the ball at an elite level. And I know we have talked about him kind of poorly in the last couple of years because of some of the things he brought on himself, but his talent is still there. You know what I mean? His potential is still there. So I'm a type of person who try to sit back and evaluate in that format. Like, okay, how did we actually miss in the running game? Was it just because of the line of scrimmage and we just got beat down, or it because we was there and didn't execute properly as defenders? So, I'm cool if Eric Armstead and even Hargrave maybe not though. They got to come back next week though. That's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game. But I do believe that we will be prepared in a different way because we did have a lot. I think Fred Warner said it. Man, we have a lot of rushing yards, and he said, "I know who's coming to town next week. We cannot allow that team to have that type of output against us." And it's unfortunate. Well, it's kind of fortunate, but unfortunate that Mitchell got hurt in the Ravens last night because that guy is so fast. And I wish a speedy recovery, but just don't come back this week.
Yeah, I want to get real quick. Mr. Blue Magic brings up a point. I tweeted this out last night, man. The Cardinals, I think, might be a problem in the future. Like, to me, they felt like they were 2 receivers and just a few defenders away from being real like dogs. I want to get your take on that, TL. What did you see last night in that game?
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with you guys. Like, Kyler Murray, like I had talked in the beginning of the show, like his weapons, man. And I know there's some elite players that 5'10", stuff like that, but they really don't have a red zone threat. And I forgot about that tight end McBride. He can play. And McBride can play. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, you still got Buda Baker. You still got, I mean, I think Arizona beat Dallas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they beat Dallas. I mean, they played us pretty well, putting them 29 points on this defense.
Without Kyler.
Without Kyler, yeah. And without Kyler. And then they went into Pittsburgh. I know Pittsburgh's in shambles right now, but they went into Pittsburgh and beat a down spiral Pittsburgh team. But I'm saying, but they've been playing well these last few weeks. So yeah, I think if you get them, a good receiver, maybe some piece on the offensive line, another good running back to feed off of Connor, I think they're a couple pieces away from not being too bad. Because they play real physical. And everybody laughed at that Gannon guy when he got the job, when he made that comment, like, yeah, there's not many jobs out there that have a franchise quarterback, and everybody's giving him a hard time and stuff. But yeah, I think probably, you look by 2020, 26 maybe, I can see the Cardinals kind of being a problem. I think the Seahawks and the Rams are going to start going downhill a little bit, and then you're going to start seeing, because Matthew Stafford's probably going to be out in a couple of years. Then you
Yeah.
got us, I think we're going to sustain this type of efficiency and stuff. But yeah, I agree with you. But go ahead.
I got a question for Twin.
Uh,
Specifically for Twin. I want TL to get his take too, though.
uh,
And the reason why I'm asking Twin is because we know his brother covers the Cowboys. Cowboys got stomped last night by the Bills. I don't know how your brother doing, Twin. Buffalo Bills beat them 31-10. Shout out to Law. Are the Cowboys frauds, man?
Are they frauds?
Yeah.
They have fraudulent moments. You know what I mean?
Tendencies.
Yeah, to me, they're a team that they can lose against anybody. But at the same time, I do believe they can beat anybody. And I know that sounds crazy, but talent, like, they're not as physical. This is what I was telling my brother all the time. Like, they don't have a physical brand of football. They're kind of like a finesse team. There's point in times where that team would play and throw the ball in situations where I'm like, why won't y'all just run the ball? Because you messing up your time of possession. You're throwing the ball on first, second, and third down. You're not necessarily getting your offensive linemen to kind of push the LOS forward. You kind of just want them to sit back here and be like pass blockers all the time. And there's going to be times in the playoffs where things aren't working right, and you just gotta a mano y mano and just be physical. So they do have fraudulent moments, but at the same time, I'm going to always respect the team that has shown glimpses of greatness, and so that's my thing with them. I'm going to respect them for when they come up and they ball out. So that's my 2 cents on them boys.
What do you think, TL?
I agree with Twin. Like, I remember I was actually in Detroit at a Wolverines game, watching the Cowboys Eagles, the first game they played at a sports bar. And I'm sitting there looking. Cowboys were down by 2, 3, or whatever. Well, no, they down by 4, because if they would kick the field goal, they would have tied. They were down by like 4 on the 5-yard line with first down, 1st and 5. You know what I mean? Or 1st and goal, whatever. 1st and goal on the 5. And all of a sudden, bad time management, delay a game, holding. They go from going to the 5-yard line to like the 23. I'm just like, man, you guys had it in the bag. So yeah, they have fraudulent moments where it's like, what were you guys thinking? You had a chance to beat Philly. In Philly, you had them on the ropes, and you screwed it up by beating yourselves. You know what I'm saying? So I agree. They're kind of like, I don't think they're as good as us on defense. I think our defense is superior than theirs, but their offense has their moments. With CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cook starting to get into his bag, doing his thing. Michael Gallup getting more involved. Tony Pollard, their offense is pretty solid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's times where you say like, man, they can beat anybody. I feel like they're my Orlando Magic in football. My Orlando Magic will beat the Denver Nuggets. They'll go beat the Milwaukee Bucks, and then they'll go lose to like the Charlotte Hornets. Like, what are you guys doing, man? So
Yeah.
it's funny with the Cowboys, man. Like, even though we've dominated them over the last couple of years, I still would never overlook them, because if they get into their bag, they have a chance, like Twin said, to beat anybody.
So that's my question. I guess my next question, for Twin here. Can any team in the NFC hang with the 49ers? Are you worried about any of these NFC teams in the playoffs?
Can they hang with us? Yes. Am I worried? I've seen too much football to not be conscious of what can happen on a Sunday. I know somebody can go down there, get a touchdown, throw a pick six, somebody go maybe fumble the ball, nothing, get the ball back again, they go score, you know what I mean? And they have a high pass rush, or things can happen. So I'm not saying I'm 70% us, but at the same time, man, Eagles a team that they're injured. So, but if they are healthy and playing, they just like today is their day where they're just clicking. I know they can cause us some problems. Same thing with Dallas. I know they can cause us some problems if one day they just like today we wake up and we want to play some real football. So I'm always going to sit there and have a little point of hesitation, just because I just seen too much football just to sit there and say like we just got it like that. Like the Warriors. I know it's basketball. There's other teams that I was like, I don't care what the heck y'all do. Like, hey, bro,
Yeah.
we got this. But like, football is such a different sport because it's just one game. It's one game. You know what I mean? And so that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think I want to give my answer. Like, in general, to me, no. I think if the 49ers are healthy and Kyle's on his back, I don't think any team can hang with the 49ers in the NFC. Now, we did see the 49ers are what? They lost 3 games. One of them was to the Vikings, who is the NFC, right? They're NFC.
Yes, NFC.
Outside of that, they lost to the Cleveland Browns, who had an elite defense at the time. We were unhealthy. They lost to the Bengals. Now, the commonalities between the Browns was a different one, right? That was a defensive victory for the Browns.
For sure.
When it comes to the Bengals and the Vikings, what did we see? We saw elite quarterback play. Yeah. So elite quarterback play, right? That's the reason why these quarterbacks get paid so much money, because a quarterback can take over a game. When I look at the NFC, I look at Jalen Hurts and I look at Dak Prescott, who are the quarterbacks, or Jared Goff, right? Those are the 3 best teams outside of us in the NFC. I'm not worried about any of those dudes taking over a game. What worries me is we get to the Super Bowl, not worries, but just my concern is we get to the Super Bowl and we face a team like a Lamar Jackson or a Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen. Those cats can take over a game. Like, they can, if they have a phenomenal game, which they are capable of doing, they can take over and they can win a game by themselves. And so that's what I think I'm worried. I really believe that this 49ers team is healthy. They're going to the Super Bowl. And then the question is, I still think they're the better team out of any team they're going to play in the AFC in the Super Bowl. But man, those cats, those quarterbacks that I mentioned, they could take over a game, and that's what my worry is. I want to get your take on that.
Yeah, I can see your point in that. I mean, when you looked at and it was funny, we played the Vikings on my birthday, and I'm like, man, they better get this victory, and we lost. But then you go into the game, I went in overconfident. I'm like, oh, we lost to the Browns. There's no way this good team's losing 2 games in a row. No Justin Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, we got this. And Kirk Cousins, he picked us apart. Throwing to Jordan Addison and I don't know who else. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where it's like, and I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is gonna, have anything to do with that. What I'm saying is, you're right. Quarterback play can take over a game if they find, like, if they see the soft coverages, they see a weakness that's going on, stuff like that. And I think the only team in the NFC I'm really worried about if we have to play again, it would be Philly, just because I feel like they, even though we dominated them, I think they match up with us well. I don't see, if we play again, it's going to be a close game. That's guaranteed. I don't think there will be a blowout. And yeah, you're right. If we get to the Super Bowl, team, guys like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, stuff like that, as for quarterback situations, I'd be worried about. But I think and this is a what's the word I want to say? This is like a long shot, but a team that I would be worried about if we played in the Super Bowl, just because if they get it going and if we're beating ourselves, I don't know if we're gonna be able to stop that. Would be like the Miami Dolphins. I think if Tyreek Hill's healthy, Jalen Waddle, Mostert, what's his name, Devin Akane, I think the guy's name is. Like, I think if they get going and we start beating ourselves with, penalties and all this other stuff, I think that's only team I'd be kind of worried about, like, as for a dark horse. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, yeah, the NFC, we're getting home field advantage. Like I said, the Cowboys will probably play us tough, because you remember the last 2 playoff games against Dallas, I think we've only won by a touchdown each game, right? Then we beat them like 19. We beat them 19 to 12. Yeah, it was 19 to 12, and then the year before that, it was 23 to 17, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a 1-score game each time in the playoffs. So don't think we're gonna go in there and dog walk them,
But I will say that's with mediocre offense. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if that's with Jimmy G at quarterback.
Yeah.
So I would like to see it
Yeah.
with. I like.
Well, last year though, it was Brock.
Yeah, it was Brock. But a little
Yeah.
more
Excuse me.
familiarity.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
It was
That
Brock
was with
last
Brock.
year. Yeah, it was Brock last year. It was 19 to 12. It was a low scoring
That's a good
game.
point. That's a good point, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't think. I for
And
some
thank
reason I
God
forgot
for
about that.
look, and thank God for Dak Prescott throwing 2 interceptions in the red zone, because
Yeah.
offensively, we wasn't going too well. And I believe Christian McCaffrey was held to maybe 2.7 yards per carry
Did
or
we have
very low.
turnovers in that game? Did we have
No
turnovers in that
turnovers.
game?
No, we
No
didn't have any
turnovers, but
turnovers. We had no
we weren't
turnovers.
running the ball very well at
So we
all.
won 19-12, and they had 2
Yes.
Yeah.
turnovers? That's kinda crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
but and then
But
also
Yeah.
again, it's the playoffs, and like I said, talent wise, we got it. Injuries, barring injuries, we should win. But at the same time, listen here, guys, ain't nothing absolute, but that the doggone grave. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, anything can happen. Brother Bob kicked in $3 additional this time. Shout out to Brother Bob, man. It says, not worried about any team in the NFL, hence we should win the Super Bowl. No more excuses. Only Kyle and injuries can stop us. Kyle needs to rest CMC, so no injury. I agree with that. And he also says, but Ryan, our offense can take over a game too. That's facts, man. And I appreciate Brother Bob.
For sure.
Brother Bob knows I'm always messing with him. He knows I appreciate his support, whether he's kicking super chats, $2, $5, no dollars. Brother Bob's my guy, and I appreciate it. You know, I'm joking with you, man. All right, cool, man. Well, I want to ask you about something that's a little bit concerning before we get up out of here. But Demo hurt, man. What do you think that means for this team? It could be nothing. Maybe he comes back next week, but there's something going on with his ribs oblique. I guess we'll find out later today when he talks. But if Demo's out, what does that mean for this Ravens game? Who fills the void?
Man, I think Demo has been playing great. His tackling has been extremely sure. He's been a sure tackler as well. I think he's gonna be Gucci because at the end of the day, he's not going to be hitting that often, in my opinion. So, hey, make sure you numb him up a little bit, wear extra little pad on your ribs. You know what I'm saying? And I think he can keep on pushing. He's a hyena. I think he's feeling himself too much right now to kind of he's in a rhythm. You know what I mean? Him and Moody are definitely playing like a great tandem. So I'm just going to trust his dog, And then at the same time, what's my guy name? Ambry Thomas. I think at the end of the day, too, he's been playing better as well. So I have to begin to trust the secondary and what Steve Wilkes has been doing with them as the year has gotten farther along. And his ability to be, what's my guy name? Gibson as a safety has really been helping out the secondary too as well, just calling out coverages, making sure that he has the back of other individuals who may mess up sometimes. And with him being that safety net back there, man, I truly believe we can continue to be a productive team, So that's my 2 cents on that.
You think Verrett's going to get in at all? What do you think, Tio?
I don't think so. I don't think if he plays, it won't be on Christmas. I think he'll play the week after. That's my opinion. I think he wants to get back in football shape, get reacclimated to the defense and stuff like that. I don't think he plays on Monday. What I will say is this though, everybody, and it's what's his name? Isaiah Oliver. He struggles with some pass coverage. But the good thing is the Ravens are a running football team and he tackles well. If we have to worry about him stopping the run and stuff, I'm not too worried about that. It seems like I'm not sure is Samuel Womack, did he get in at all last week, or did he get in at all yesterday?
I didn't see him. You know what? Who I did see though was Luter. Man, Luter had a coverage and a target, and it was incomplete. So that was the first time I really got to see Luter in action in a game, which was good to see. And Logan Ryan was in a little bit at the end of that game, so it's good to see. I mean, the 49ers, I think they have a lot more depth at the DB position than people really realize. Like, especially if Verrett gets back to his, at least playing condition, like to where he can actually contribute. I'm not saying he's going to be Pro Bowl level like he was in the past, but Jason Verrett is really good when healthy too. So we might be okay there. And I don't know how the extent of Demo's injury, but I did think it was. Let me get this real quick.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
let me ask you guys this real quick. Now that we have Logan Ryan and also with Gibson and stuff like that, how would you guys like to see Jair Brown sometimes cover in the slot at times? Do you think he'd be okay doing that?
I don't know. He got burnt yesterday by the tight end for a touchdown.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I still got to see more from Jair. It's just been such a small sample size.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I'm glad they got Logan Ryan because he's got that veteran experience. They might end up going with him at some point if Jair can't step up. Go ahead. Tony.
No, I think Jair is Gucci. I think he's good. I think Kyle would keep him in Wilkes because of his tenacity to study all the time. And with a guy like that, you want to continue to reward him because not only is he playing hard on the field, but that he's a guy who's going to look at his mistakes and put in the time and the effort to try to correct those things. And so I think they'll keep him in the game. But I think you made a great point about somebody like Logan Ryan, Jason Verrett. I think people don't realize these guys live in the god doggone film room. Like when you got veterans in there, they can sit down with these guys, continue to talk them up, coach them up, and like a lot of times it's just about seeing pictures. Can I see this picture and understand what it is that I'm looking at as a rookie? Because they're going to continue to try to have motions and disguise certain personnels against a young guy like that. So with those veteran guys and Steve Wilson, that secondary room, we got to trust the fact that they're going to allow his athletic ability to want to take over as he get more time on task as that safety now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Real quick, Mr. Blue Magic, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says Detroit has a great run game, best tight end, top tier wide receiver, and play tougher than people realize. But Jared is the question. That could be a tough matchup. It could, man. It's possible people are sleeping on Detroit a little bit. I just it's just Detroit. So I guess in my head I'm like, man, it's Detroit Lions, man. But I guess maybe I'm
sure.
tripping a little bit. They are balling this year,
They
so
are.
and Dan
And Dan
Campbell's doing a
Campbell's
hell
a
of a
good
job.
coach, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gambles. That's one thing about him. He gambles. Like he's not scared to take shots. He'll go for it on like 4th and 7 sometimes. Like this dude has guts, man. And
Yeah.
usually, and usually when he does that stuff, it happens. You're like, man, I can't believe
Yeah.
he did it. But then you're like, oh wow, like that play ended up working. So yeah, that's a team. When you play a team that has no fear, as far as like, especially with the coaching staff,
Yeah.
it's tough, man. Because
Sometimes when you
Look,
gamble, it pays off.
Flea flickers away, triple
Man.
reverses away, a
Yeah.
punt fake or a onside kick. Like
Yeah,
those are the things that I tell people. When I seen Sean Payton in the Super Bowl do an onside kick coming out of halftime, I say, listen here, hey, you better be ready to risk it all
thank
if
you.
you want to
Yep.
win it all, And so I hope Kyle will, Mitch Winowski, big up to you, Mitch. Keep doing your thing. Like that little run he had last week, though, on that punt. I know he didn't necessarily call that play far as the special teams coordinator.
Yeah.
We got to keep one of them in the bag. I
do.
need to see that in the playoffs because that's when I know, oh yeah, he's going for the gusto.
And
Hey,
Ryan, the fact that he
yeah,
got to 20 miles an hour was crazy.
Woo!
that's wild. Here's the thing, man. If we lose to the Detroit Lions in the playoffs, I'm taking like 3 years off, man. I'm taking like 3 years off. I'll be back in 2027.
Oh man.
Last question for you guys, man. And I got one. I'll start off by answering. The question is, what's one thing the 49ers can do better? Kyle Shanahan, man, on December 3rd, I tweeted out to you specifically, buddy. Get Ronnie Bell out of the punt return. What are we doing, man? He's obviously uncomfortable, got slippery. I like Ronnie Bell, man, and I believe in his potential as a receiver, but he scares the shit out of me in the punt return. And yesterday, it almost cost you guys. If they're wearing number 10, get them off. Like, change his number, first of all. No Kyle Williams, no Jimmy Garoppolo, no Ronnie Bell. Change his number and get him out of the punt return. That's one thing I want to see the 49ers do better. I don't want Ronnie Bell back there, man. He makes me nervous as hell. But what's one thing the 49ers can do better from your opinion? I guess we'll start with Twin.
One thing I don't like is certain times if we get a big explosive play, we call timeout. Like, because for some reason, it's like we can't get back in the huddle quick enough and, get a play out. I don't like that. And I think in the playoffs, that can cause us, some issues. Being able to get a good explosive play, get back to the line, get in the huddle, or even go line up with tempo and get a playoff. I think you got to have that in your bag, you know what I mean? And not just get tired and have to call a timeout. That's one thing. And another thing is that special team situation, like you said, we do got to make sure that is taken care of. And we got to take care of our players a little bit, man. I think there's points at times where we can, like Bosa when feeling good, sit his butt down. Like, give him more than 1 or 2 plays off. Go sit down, chill out. Same thing with Christian McCaffrey, man. You running good. But when Jordan Mason got in the game, Kyle, did you not see the boy run hard? Like, the boy ran with purpose. The boy ran with tenacity. Even when he supposed to got like a -1 yard, he ended up still getting 3 to 4 yards. Like, bro, let the man eat. Like, that's all I'm going to say. Like, because that boy, hey, that boy, dog.
Yeah, what's one thing the Niners can do better, man?
Yeah, that's funny, Ryan. You brought up the number 10 number because, man, like you can't give that man. Go back, give him the receivers back in the 80s. Give him like Arnez Battle's old number or something, 83 or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He hit the point I wanted to say is what he hit last. Give Jordan Mason more carries, man. he needs to get more carries in this game. Like, and I get it. Like, you want CMC to go out there and do his thing, but we need everybody up to par when it comes to playoffs. Like, I just hope there's not a situation where, like, we're running CMC too much, because I think we're going to see a lot of CMC on Monday. But at the same time, on Christmas, like, give Jordan Mason some snaps, man. Give him at least, you know, 6 to 10 touches a game or something. You know what I mean? Like, he only gets more touches for the most part is when we're blowing teams out. I like to see it. I like to see you change the momentum a little bit and just put him out there. And even if you want to keep CMC on the field, put him in a slot. You can still have Jordan Mason in the back and put CMC in the slot. You can have Debo, Ayuk, and CMC as a 3 wide receiver set. And man, that's nasty. Then you got Jordan Mason in the back. Like, just give that man some more carries. I agree. Like, he needs more touches.
And it's not just for him; it's to conserve CMC. And I know CMC, he doesn't like to come out, but it's like, too bad, man. I'm the coach.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep you healthy for the playoffs. I don't care about any regular season statistics or records and nothing like that. We need you for the long haul.
Hey.
That's how I look at it.
And real quick, because we seen CMC on the bench, he was rubbing his kneecap, you know what I'm saying? And like, listen here, hey, whoa, buddy. Yeah. Listen, you are in the MVP conversation. And if we didn't have nobody to kind of help spell him, I get it. But my guy, hey, listen here. I'm gonna need you to make sure my guy can sit here and be healthy, And again, I think overall the team would appreciate you, because that's the one thing about Kyle. Like, we need to know, hey, Kyle, it's okay to be, to diversify your running back room, man, because you got talent back there. And that's it.
Look, man, great show. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Twins channel. TL, do you got some Twins information details in the description? You can just click the link. But TL, you want them? Do you have a place where you want them to subscribe or follow?
Yeah, you can subscribe to Mariah, and I don't know if anybody from who's on Twitter and stuff knows Mariah. Me and her have been doing a show for about going on 2 years now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're a pretty good duo. And it's funny, we never talk about show ideas. We just come on and we freestyle. We just come on freestyle, and it flows. So yes, you can reach us on YouTube at 49 Faithful Lee Podcast. So,
yes, sir. Make sure you guys subscribe. Red Jet Cell, this is the best morning show to date. Keep it going. Yeah, man. I love it. I love it.
I'm like 30 away from 600 bun, man. So y'all go ahead and help your boy out. I'm in the 600 club. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, Ryan, I tell you this, man, before I get off, man, you've been an excellent dude, man. One day, if I go to the Bay, I want to meet you in person. You're a cool cat. And man, just, ever since people started creating these shows, it's hard to keep up with every 49er content creator. Yeah, I've had people in my DMs like, hey, I haven't seen you on my show in a while. And I was like, man, we have so many. But one thing I will say I consistently do is watch yours, because you are one of the best on here, man. You keep it a buck. You're not scared to rub some feathers. And you're not doing it because you're trying to be a jerk. You do it because you speak the truth. And you're not scared to talk, real football instead of tickling the ears of some of these 49er fans. Like, here's what I'll say. If you want to praise when they're good, it's okay to criticize when they're bad, period. You know what I'm saying? And people need to realize that true fans are going to look at the good and the bad, not just what was going to tickle my ears. So keep doing your thing, man. This is a great show. I watch yours consistently. Like I said, there's so many to keep up with because, I work, I got kids. So it's, I can't be on everybody's show, but yours is the one I watch consistently. So kudos to you, bro.
Hey, much appreciated, man. That's the way I fan. I think if for me, and again, I'm not going to tell anyone how they fan. If they want to just, butterflies and roses and all that stuff, that's fine.
Do you?
For me, it's more entertainment because if I talk about everything, the good, the bad, everything, because there's a whole section of being a 49ers fan that you're missing out on if you don't do that. I love the 49ers. I want them to win the Super Bowl, but I'm also trying to be just keep it real, like, and not sugarcoat anything. And I appreciate you pointing that out, man. Thank you very much for doing that.
For sure.
For sure. Hey, I say this: even if you land in the bed of roses, you're still going to get pricked by a thorn. You know what I'm saying? And so,
talk to them.
Yeah, dropping the jewels, man. I appreciate you guys, man. I'm gonna be on busy day ahead with work, and then I got to jump on with Grant at 11 a.m. So I'm going to dip up out of here. But pleasure having TL and Twin as always on the show. Make sure you like and subscribe to their channels. Check them out on YouTube. And then we'll be back here tomorrow, 9 a.m. with Jesse Naylor. Thank you guys so much. Y'all have a great day.